What is the role of citizens in a democracy? What do you what do you think that citizens do in a democracy? They vote. Nidhi says they vote. Please don't write on private. Please write to everyone, Akash and Nidhi, to elect representatives of the country. That's basically voting. What else? What are my other roles? As a citizen, I have the right to vote. So we've all said and done the right to vote. What else? What else can I do as the citizen of the country? Can I stand in elections? Form your own party, stand in elections. You can also, what are the other ways in which I can influence the decision making? If I don't want to form a party, if I don't want to take part in election, how can I influence the decision taken by political parties? What are the other ways in which we can take part in democracy, in decision making? From the outside, not inside. Protest, amazing, Lakshmi. So doing movements, right to choose the government. Disagree. How do you disagree, Ankit? How do you disagree with the government? How do you show your disagreement? कि ये अगर सरकार ने ये चीज निकाली है, मैं इसके खिलाफ हूं या इसके साथ हूं. Support or disagreement. How do I show that? By voicing my opinions, by maybe media, right? So taking part in active protests, participating through medias, writing in newspapers, writing your opinion pieces, raising our voice mainly, right? So we are talking about how from inside and from outside we can influence our government's decision making. Citizens role is not limited to inside the political party or just right to vote. We become active citizens only when we participate in decision making. And how can we do that? We can do that by raising our voice, by protesting, by starting a movement, by supporting a specific social cause and telling the government to form laws on those causes, right? तो बहुत ज्यादा इन्वायरमेंट से रिलेटेड हमारी कंट्री में मूवमेंट्स हो रखी है. इससे पहले ट्राइबल लोगों ने बहुत मूवमेंट्स इन्वायरमेंट से रिलेटेड चालू करी है. चिपकू मूवमेंट, इफ यू रिमेंबर, राइट? देन वुमेन से रिलेटेड बहुत मूवमेंट्स हुई है कि वुमेन के राइट्स के लिए, उनकी एजुकेशन के लिए, डाउरी के अगेंस्ट, चाइल्ड मैरिजेस के अगेंस्ट हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत मूवमेंट्स की गई हैं. राजा राम मोहन रॉय ने काफी मूवमेंट्स करी थी. हमारी इंडिपेंडेंस, हमारे देश की इंडिपेंडेंस भी एक मूवमेंट से ही शुरू हुई थी, जो इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस ने शुरू करी थी हमारे देश की आजादी के लिए मूवमेंट, राइट? एंड करंटली काफी समय से एक बहुत ही मेन मूवमेंट हमारी कंट्री में चल रही है, विच इज दिस. डू यू नो अबाउट दिस मूवमेंट? Can we all type on everyone if we know about what is the current movement going on in India? Which is this movement? Farmers protest, right? Farmers movement. Farmers protesting against what? What are they protesting against? Agriculture related. What agriculture related? So we have very absurd मतलब हम 3 बिल पास हुए, सरकार ने कुछ लॉज निकाले हैं, फार्मर्स उसके अगेंस्ट है, हम लोग एकदम ही हवा में बात कर रहे हैं, राइट? बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव वेरी क्लियर आइडिया अबाउट व्हाट दोस 3 बिल्स आर, व्हाई आर फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्टिंग, व्हाट इज द होल कॉज of the farmers, right? So before we move on to anything, as citizens of our country, all of us on this Zoom call should be aware, more than anything should be aware of what is happening in our country, right? Before we raise our voice, before we stand for or against a protest, we need to be aware of what is the protest all about. Why are farmers angry? Why have they been angry for years, right? So what is happening around the farmers? And since protest is a fundamental right, since raising your voice is a fundamental right, then why are these farmers being treated with water cannons? Why are they being treated like this with tear gases, right? So these are the questions that should be coming in our heads at the moment. And before we answer these questions and before we get into the importance of a movement, let's study this particular movement. Okay, so farmers protest is our case study for the day. The bill passed by Lok Sabha is related to removing commission in agriculture, buying and selling the goods. Amazing, Divya. So you're talking about minimum support price or MSP, right? But the bill has a lot more nuances, and we will study that before entering the larger meaning of a movement, right? Are you all excited to know more about the farmers' movement? Yes or no? To have a clear idea of what they are demanding and why are they angry? Amazing. Since there is enthusiasm in the classroom, since Rakhi, Dilip, Sanya and Nidhi are saying yes, ठीक है अजीत. तो अभी अभी हम लोग एक वीडियो देखेंगे जिसके अंदर बेसिकली हम लोग लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू वेदर प्रोटेस्ट इज राइट और रॉन्ग. लेट्स स्टडी व्हाई आर पीपल प्रोटेस्टिंग एंड व्हाई आर पीपल एंग्री. ओके, क्या राइट मेथड है प्रोटेस्ट करने का? प्रोटेस्ट सही है, गलत है, बॉर्डर पे होना सही है, गलत है? ये सब बहुत ही नुआंसेस है जो हम बाद में पढ़ सकते हैं, पर पहले हमें पढ़ना है कि ये हो क्यों रहा है. Right? Why are people so angry? Ajit, this is social and political movements. Give me one moment. I'm going to share the link with you all. Right. So now we are watching this video to understand why is this farmers movement happening in India. It is a long video. Stay patient, but you will understand every law till the end. Please go to this link and start watching this video. Once you are done, come back to chat and type done. Thank you, Ajay. Waiting for all of you to type done. Thank you, Aditya. Waiting for the rest of you to type done. If you have seen the video, please type done. Thank you, Shehbaz. Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Aditya V. Whoever has written done, can you please type whether you now understand a little bit about the farmers' movement or why they are protesting or why they are angry? Amit, Mahmood, I hope you have a little more understanding about the laws and about why farmers are angry. Amazing, right? So we have some clarity as to why people are protesting, right? And this is not the first protest that has happened in India related to farming or related to the farmers or related to a farmers movement. We have had multiple protests, right? Now, in general, if I ask you a question, why do people protest? Why do I raise my voice? Then what is your answer? Now that you have studied the main problem, can you tell me why are these farmers protesting? Like they are not happy with the government, they're not happy with the laws, and they are raising their voice, right? Now, how do they raise their voice? What does a movement look like? Something goes against their thoughts, or maybe something that goes against them, their policies. Maybe the policies affect their lives, and that is why they want to stop them from harming them. because they're not getting their rights. Amazing. So why we protest? We protest because we feel हमारे rights deprive हो रहे हैं, या हमें हमारा हक नहीं मिल रहा, या जो policy बनाई गई है वो गलत है, right? तो हमें ये लगता है कि जो power में बैठा है वो हमारी बात नहीं सुन रहा. Basically, generally हम protest इसलिए करते हैं, right? अब हम protest कैसे करते हैं? What does a movement look like according to you? What are the key features in a movement? अगर आप इस मूवमेंट को देखो, फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट, तो इसमें क्या क्या मेन फीचर्स हैं? इस फार्मर प्रोटेस्ट का मेन फीचर्स क्या क्या हैं? क्राउड ऑफ पीपल, मास ऑफ पीपल. सो यू कांट, वन पर्सन कैन नॉट प्रोटेस्ट अलोन. यू नीड अ कम्युनिटी. Okay, you need a community of people, you need people, then you need a specific agenda. Amazing, Amit Yadav. So हमें भूख हड़ताल इज अ मेथड, रितेश, बट उसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे मेथड्स होते हैं. वी नीड अ लीडर, राइट? अमेजिंग दिव्या. तो जितने भी सारी टॉक्स हो रही हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के साथ, सेंटर के साथ, जितनी भी सारी पंजाब के फार्मर्स की टॉक्स हो रही है, उसमें उनके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जाते हैं, उसमें उनके लीडर्स जाते हैं. तो हमें एक लीडर चाहिए टू लीड आवर मूवमेंट. वी ऑल्सो नीड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दैट आर वर्किंग towards farmers movements in general, right? तो farmers causes को जो बढ़ावा दे रही है, वैसी organizations हमें चाहिए, right? We have to work together, we have to work as a collectivity. Okay, and most important, like Amit Yadav pointed out, हमें एक specific agenda चाहिए. आप movement human rights पे नहीं कर सकते कि हर इंसान को अपना हक मिलना चाहिए. क्या ऐसी कभी प्रोटेस्ट सुना है कि कोई प्रोटेस्ट में लोग इतने पैशनेटली पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हर इंसान को अपना हक मिलना चाहिए? Yeah, do they have specific topics? Every movement has a topic, right? So why do you think we don't have one general movement for human rights, and why do we have specific topic related movements? Why do you think that's the case? Why are farmers protesting in a different movement for only 3 laws? Why is this movement so specific? क्यों हमारी कंट्री में इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है, गरीबी से रिलेटेड, औरतों से रिलेटेड, फार्मर से रिलेटेड? क्यों नहीं हम सब साथ आके एक कॉमन ह्यूमन मूवमेंट करते हैं? हम अलग अलग टॉपिक्स पे क्यों फाइट करते हैं? इट इज ऑल रिलेटेड टू फार्मिंग. तो हम, फिजा, मेरा यही पॉइंट है कि फार्मर्स मूवमेंट एक मूवमेंट क्यों चल रही है? क्यों नहीं सारी औरतें भी मिल जाती है, और क्यों नहीं सारे लोग मिल जाते हैं? क्योंकि लॉज अफेक्ट अ पर्टिकुलर लाइफ ऑफ पीपल. यस, तो अगर हम पर्टिकुलर लॉ को टारगेट करेंगे तो हम पर्टिकुलर चेंज ला सकते हैं. डाइवर्सिटी ऑफ थॉट. अमेजिंग अजय. तो जितने भी सारे लोग हैं, इवन इन फार्मर्स, इनके एक अलग अलग थॉट प्रोसेसेस है. तो हम और मूवमेंट्स ऐड कर देंगे तो एकदम ही अलग अलग डायरेक्शंस में मूवमेंट चली जाएगी. बिकॉज वी डोंट गेट इक्वल राइट लाइक ऑल पीपल. अमेजिंग. So people are not at equal level, so they can't come together and fight. Amazing. So these are all opinions, and all the opinions are correct. ठीक है? तो इसीलिए taking all your opinion into consideration, main part ये है कि जब आप एक स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक को लेके लड़ते हो, जब आपका एजेंडा स्पेसिफिक होता है, तो लड़ाई फिर भी कंपैरेटिवली आसान हो जाती है, क्योंकि आप अपनी डिमांड लिस्ट डाउन कर सकते हो. पर अगर आप यूनिवर्सली हर चीज के लिए लड़ोगे तो आपकी डिमांड ही आप क्लैरिफाई नहीं कर पाओगे सरकार को, राइट? तो इसलिए आपको एक एक इशू लेके फाइट करना पड़ता है. ठीक है? तो एट वन पॉइंट इन अ कंट्री only one fight is not going on. There are multiple fights going on with the government, multiple movements going on with the government. Now, my next question to you is, after watching the whole movement, what do you think is a movement? Is movement a fundamental right? Answer both the questions. फार्मर्स मूवमेंट पढ़ने के बाद आपको क्या लगता है एक मूवमेंट क्या है, और क्या मूवमेंट एक फंडामेंटल राइट है या नहीं? डू यू थिंक मूवमेंट इज अ फंडामेंटल राइट? क्या डेमोक्रेसी में हमें हक है अपनी आवाज ऊंची करने का या अगेंस्ट सरकार के अगेंस्ट बोलने का? यस, फंडामेंटल राइट अजीत, मतलब कि क्या डेमोक्रेसी के अंदर हमें हक है अपनी आवाज सरकार के खिलाफ रेस करने का? यस, अमेजिंग. So if movement is a fundamental right carried by mass of people for their own rights. Amazing, Shubham. Very well put. Now, the main point that Shubham has pointed out is mass of people, right? Second point is also one common topic. They're fighting for one main issue, right? So we have a collectivity of people fighting for one main issue, having a leader, and also having some organizations working towards it. So farmers movement के towards farmers organizations work करेंगी, women's movement के towards बहुत सारे women related NGOs work करेंगे, right? So these are sort of four main features of a movement. सबसे पहले movement एक इंसान से नहीं बनती, multiple लोगों से बनती है. Second, उसका एक main topic होता है जिसपे वो movement शुरू होती है. Third, इसका एक leader होता है. Fourth, इससे रिलेटेड काफी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस काम कर रही होती हैं जो कॉन्टिन्यूअसली काम करती हैं इन इश्यूज पे. तो मे बी वो एनजीओज होंगे जो इन इश्यूज पे ऑलरेडी काम कर रहे होते हैं और वो इस मूवमेंट को और बढ़ावा देते हैं, राइट? Did you understand these four features of a movement? Did you understand the four features of a movement? A group of people, one common topic, then a leader and an organization. Amazing. Thank you, Fiza. Thank you, Sanya. Thank you, Ajit. Thank you, Pooja. Rest of you, did you understand the 4 points? Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, Rakhi. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Shehbaz. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Nidhi. Right. These are the features of a movement that we studied, right? First of all, it is collective action. It is not individual action. People come together and start a movement. Second point, one second. Second point, it is in the interest of a particular issue. Every movement has one main issue they're fighting against. Third, it should have leader, right? So it should have one main leader who's negotiating with the government. तभी कोई change हो सकता है, तभी वो movement active हो सकती है. अगर leader नहीं होगा तो movement active नहीं होगी. Corruption के against जो movement थी उसमें main leader कौन था? जो हमारी कंट्री में recently corruption के against movement शुरू हुई थी, तो उसमें main leader कौन था? Do you remember? It's a very, very big movement in India against corruption. Started within 10 years. Who was the main leader? Because of that, Aam Aadmi Party has also been structured. अजीत, तब तुम काफी छोटे थे जब ये करप्शन वाली मूवमेंट चल रही थी. Arvind Kejriwal was not the main leader, but he was fighting with the main leader. Can you now guess the main leader? Anna Hazare. Amazing, Ajay. Anna Hazare was the main leader, right? Similarly, in Indian independence movement, who do you think is the main leader? Who was the negotiating party? Who was negotiating with the Britishers? Who was the middleman? INC, Gandhiji. Amazing, Ajay. So INC is the organization, but Congress was the organization, Sufia, but Gandhiji was the main leader, right? So we are talking about one main person or a group of people who were negotiating as well, right? So at that time, Gandhiji was the main key feature. Now, when we talk about organization, one main organization fighting for independence, then that was INC. That was Indian National Congress. Okay? And the fifth part is, जहां तक 4 parts हमारे clear थे, fifth part is कि कोई भी movement को चलने के लिए public का support चाहिए. अगर हम लोग उस movement को support नहीं कर रहे होंगे तो सरकार उनकी बात नहीं सुनेगी, right? वो movement एक failure हो जाएगी. But अगर majority of people start supporting that movement, then सरकार has to listen. And why does the government has to listen? if people are supporting a particular movement, why do you think government will listen more carefully? If we are supporting farmers protest, if whole of India is supporting farmers protest, why would the government listen more carefully? Government is for the people, yes. And what would be the selfish motive, Amit? Because they're for the seat. Amazing दिलीप, क्योंकि वरना लोग वोट नहीं करेंगे उनके खिलाफ और अगले वोटिंग में उन लोगों को हटा दिया जाएगा। तो जब जिस साइड पर भी पब्लिक होती है, सरकार को वो बातें सुननी ही पड़ती है, क्योंकि वरना अगले 5 साल में उनको वोट नहीं दिए जाएंगे और उन्हें सीट से हटा दिया जाएगा। इसीलिए हर मूवमेंट की सबसे मेन जरूरत होती है कि पब्लिक का सपोर्ट उस मूवमेंट के साथ होना चाहिए, अगर उन्हें सरकार के अगेंस्ट खड़ा होना है तो। राइट, सो 5 मेन फीचर्स। ये कलेक्टिव है, इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है, ये पर्टिकुलर इशू के लिए है, इसमें एक लीडरशिप होनी चाहिए, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होनी चाहिए और पब्लिक का सपोर्ट होना चाहिए। ओके, 5 फीचर्स ऑफ अ मूवमेंट क्लियर? Perfectly amazing, Sanya. Good, Ajit. Rest of you, thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Rakhi. Thank you, Ashraf. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Fiza. Thank you, Prince. Thank you, Mahmood. Thank you, Divya. Right. Now we move to the next question. This one we have already addressed. Let's move to a more controversial question. Nowadays, all the movements are tagged as anti-national. Okay. Do you think, in your opinion, if I am raising my voice against an issue in our country, if I am raising my voice against the government, does that mean I'm anti-national? After reading the cause, after reading everything, do you think farmers who are protesting right now are anti-nationals? Are they against the nation? The farmers who have been providing us with food for years and centuries, are they against our nation? No. Is there anyone who has a different opinion? Do you think what is happening right now in our country is that against our nation? Amazing. So unlike you, a lot of people feel that what the farmers are doing right now, if your protest is not in favor of development of nation, then it is anti-national. Ajay, it's a very big misconception. What might be in the favor of you might not be in the favor of somebody else, but we are a part of the same nation. जो अंबानी के फेवर में है वो फार्मर्स के फेवर में नहीं है, ठीक है? तो फिर आप कैसे डिसाइड कर सकते हो अगर फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो क्या वो फेवर ऑफ नेशन है या अगेंस्ट नेशन है? You can't decide that. But there are ways it can be. How, Aditya? Can you tell me? How can a movement be anti-national? What actions? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. It's a very general discussion. It's a very common discussion that you would hear around you. Right now, these farmers who have been providing us with, but violence has been, so Aditya is saying कि अगर आपकी movement violent हो जाती है तो वो anti-national हो जाती है, right? वो wrong हो सकती है, incorrect हो सकती है, but nation के against है या नहीं है, I don't really know. There is a lot of violence that the police is doing against the farmers who are peacefully protesting. Then is police anti-national? When people are affected due to particular movement, then it's anti-national. Okay. Do you think police can be anti-national? Analyzing its effect. Yes, Raki says yes. Aditya says yes. Amazing. Now, this is something that people don't realize, right? So the way police is dealing with these farmers at the moment, the way they are hitting them, the way they are throwing tear gases at them, right? Is that anti-national? Can police be anti-national? So these questions don't have yes or no answers. I just want you to think of them, right? So when we say violence is anti-national, so the violence done by police, is that also anti-national? Is something that I want you to think about. I don't want you to answer to me directly, but these are the questions that you should be thinking about. So when media tags people as anti-national, when media says, you know, this person released this statement and this person is anti-national, if I'm anti-government, that does not mean I'm anti-national. If I've been working as an educator in a country, if I've been working to give food to the people, police work to make peace in surrounding, but Sufia, are they doing their job well? Are they government gives order to police, so they have to follow their order? Amazing. Like Akash rightfully replied to Sufia, sometimes police is just following orders of the government, right? So they are corrupted, maybe they are not corrupted, maybe they're just following orders, right? So there are a lot of nuances to who is a nationalist, who is an anti-nationalist. Necessarily somebody who's against the government is not anti-national. So according to me, according to a lot of people around me, maybe if the farmers are asking for their rights, I do not believe that they are anti-national, but the media portrays them as anti-national. The media tries to show that, you know, if they are against the government, they are against the nation, which is not true. We have to divide both the things. These farmers work day in day out to give us food, to give us basic supplies for years, right? So are they for nation or against? You should decide with your own brain instead of going for what media is telling you, right? So I just want you to keep an open mind to movements, to be a little positive towards movement, to understand them more. Why are people protesting, right? So that's why I showed you that video as well. Okay, so this does not have a clear answer. This has a very open ended answer. I just want to know all your opinions, and I really value all of them. Okay, they are for the nation. Think not. What uh, what are you saying, Ajay? I didn't get your point. They are for the nation. Yes, Ajay, the farmers are for the nation, definitely. Right. Now I want to present to you another point of view, and let's see how that goes, right? Do you think Mahatma Gandhi is an anti-national? Do you think Mahatma Gandhi was an anti-national? Just answer in yes or no, okay? No. Sufia says no. Dilip says yes. Ajay says both. Okay. This is the first time I'm hearing this. Anti-national. Lakshmi Akash. नेशन के खिलाफ थे, इंडिया के खिलाफ थे. How come? They were against the British government. Amazing, right? So they were against the Britishers. They were not, Gandhiji was not against India, but in that time he was considered an anti-national because he was against the British government. So he was jailed, right? But was he doing the right thing or the wrong thing, according to you? By giving India freedom, by giving India voice, British government was in rule, so it was against the British government. Amazing, Akash. Partition was an anti-national work for me. Right thing. But Ajay, before partition, giving independence to India is my main point. His movement was not for partition. His movement was for giving independence to India. He was doing the right thing, but he was considered an anti-national, right? Movements are generally looked down upon. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think in that era, somebody who is in every currency of India, who's given so much importance now that he is a saint, right, was actually jailed in that era? Why do you think that was happening? Because he was against the government. So government tried to portray him in the negative image, right? And what do you think happened to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Do you think Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was an anti-nationalist? Do you think Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was an anti-nationalist? No. What was he fighting for? What was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar fighting for? Or Dr. Jyoti Rao Phule or Jyotiba Phule, what were they fighting for? They were fighting for the rights of the lower caste, right? Do you think that the upper caste or the people in the country respected Dr. B.R. Ambedkar a lot? Do you think he was, he wasn't considered an anti-nationalist? He was considered an anti-nationalist, right? And the first person was Nathuram Godse, an anti-nationalist. I don't believe so, Aditya, but maybe a lot of people do. The government was of British India, but nation was India, so he was not anti-national. Amazing, Sufia. Right. So at that time, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was spoken really against of. He was considered an anti-national. He was also considered ikdami outside the sphere, because he was demanding things that were not acceptable to that society at the moment, right? That were not acceptable to upper caste, demanding rights of lower caste. What was Jyotiba Phule doing? He was demanding women's education. That's something that wasn't acceptable to our culture, so people considered them as anti-national, as being against our nation, being against the values of our nation. But does that over a period of time, do you I am studying because of Jyotiba Phule, right? So will I consider him an anti-nationalist? Maybe not, right? So that is how you should see movements. In that time, in the time that movement is happening, generally it is looked down upon. But when you move forward, when you move into future, you try to see its positives, you try to understand its negatives, and then you try to understand what was the good part of people raising their voice, right? So all of these people who are now considered saints were actually looked down upon in their time, went to jail in their time. Gandhi was the first person who was in opposition to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? So there are a lot of conflicting ways in which movements happen, right? तो अभी अगर कोई मूवमेंट हो रही है और उसके अगेंस्ट लोग बोल रहे हैं, तो वो मे बी एंटी नेशनल उस चीज को टर्म देना इज प्रोबेबली द रॉन्ग टर्म. वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द मूवमेंट फर्स्ट. These are the nuances that have happened throughout. This is not a new thing that is happening in our country. So we just need to know that there is a history behind movements and there is a reason why movement happens. Do you understand me a little? Yes, no, maybe. Do you understand the importance of why movement happen? And in the time a movement is happening, it's never looked upon, it's never appreciated. In that part, it will never be appreciated, but over a period of time we realize its importance. And I feel that same will happen to this farmers movement, that maybe it's not appreciated at the moment, but as we go forward we will realize its importance, right? So when a movement is happening, the main thing we need to understand is who are the people that are doing the movement, which is the main leadership in the movement, what are the main causes of the movement, is there public support or not, is there organization or not. When we understand these 5 parts, we then try to look, is it actually working for our nation or is it actually against our nation? Very rarely a movement comes which is against a nation, right? So we need to understand by ourselves and instead of looking only at the media, right? So this would be my suggestion to you at the end of this classroom. I want to know what you are all thinking. These are actually the images of all the people we were studying till now who were jailed for their movements, who were looked down on their movements, who went against each other, who were fighting against each other, right? So these are actually evidences that a movement is never looked upon. Yes, of course, Didi. When we get essential community twice the actual rate, we will realize. Amazing, Amit. That's what he's saying. So जब हमें अपनी real life में इन laws की implication मिलेगी, जब हमारे onions का price double हो जाएगा, तो हमें realize होगा कि क्या ये movement ठीक थी या नहीं थी. Amazing point, Amit. Is there anybody else who has some out of the box thoughts about the class, about what you learned today? about the movement in general? Did you learn something new today? Did you learn more about what's happening with the farmers? Why are they protesting? Anything that you're thinking right now? सिर्फ yes no mat likho please. I want to know your thoughts. Like I want to know what you are thinking abhi. Are you confused? Are you having some revelations? Do you think that now you see movements in a positive light? That movements are not always anti-national or not always wrong? Media's role in firing a movement. Amazing, Ajay. सो हम मूवमेंट को बहुत नेगेटिवली देखने लग गए हैं. हमें आई थिंक थोड़ा एक पॉजिटिव पर्सपेक्टिव लेना चाहिए टुवर्ड्स मूवमेंट इन जनरल, राइट? And media will not help us in that. So we need to kind of figure out where a movement is positive or negative. Is there anybody else who has any other thoughts? No one? Lakshmi, Divya, Shubham, Ajit, Akash, Arman, Fiza, Nidhi, Prince, Rakhi, Sanya, Shehbaz, Shiva, Sufia, Tanisha, Pradum, Ram. कुछ तो सोच रहे होगे कैसा था क्लास, तुम्हें मजा आया नहीं आया, समझ आया नहीं आया? Movement is not wrong or right, it's just about perspective. Amazing. I like the people who just give judgment on a movement without knowing both the sides. Amazing. You like those people. That's scary. Didn't understand that much. जितना कुछ भी थोड़ा बहुत ये शुभम, ये बेसिक 5 पॉइंट समझ आ गए? फीचर्स ऑफ मूवमेंट 5 पॉइंट समझ आ गए? बोर्ड्स में यही 5 पॉइंट आने हैं. बाकी आगे पीछे का जो है वो दीदी ऐसी ही करा रही थी. बोर्ड्स में 5 पॉइंट आने हैं. ठीक है, ये 5 पॉइंट आई एम गोइंग टू सेंड इट ऑन द ग्रुप चैट. अपने नोट्स के अंदर सोशल एंड पॉलिटिकल मूवमेंट्स बनाओ और उसमें मेन ये 5 फीचर्स होने चाहिए. क्लियर? Just do these 5 features. This is a new chapter, Pradum. Okay? क्या answer sheet, Dilip? Didn't get you. This is the last chapter of political science. It's called social and political movements. All you need to know is these 5 points. आगे पीछे का जितना दीदी ने पढ़ाया is for you. Clear? I hope you all had fun today. I'm going to send these 5 points on the group. Please write them in your notes. Give the heading social and political movements, then write features of a movement and write these 5 points, okay? Yes, Akash, I'll send that. I'll send that by the weekend. Chalo, theek hai. We come to the end of the class. Thank you so much for engaging everyone. I truly enjoyed today. I hope you all did too. I'm going to